Okay, so we just say. I mean, it's a sort of a noble experiment. You know, we're gonna use the tone generator, the device, and we're going to see if we can get the some response from the instrument. So I mean, I'm curious. You know, if there's a perceivable difference in the acoustic response of a solid body guitar, that would be fabulous. It would be interesting to see what the effect would be. You know, so if it accelerates the break-in process, you know, that would be awesome. Be fun. Put 100 hours on it and see what it does.
Somehow good enough to listen to the music too.
It almost no low end.
Oh,
but
right. On some occasions, you want to listen to the guitar part anyway.
Yeah. And that's what you get, mostly the high frequencies and the mids. So the guitar is very present.
So I guess if you put it on the acoustic guitar, you get more sound then.
Yeah. I'll try it on some of them because there's some of them that I don't play that much that haven't been played for years, and so it'll be interesting. It definitely has an effect. There's no doubt about it. It definitely has an effect. So that should be enough. We'll get the other. I mean, I guess we know that you know, we had this device on the guitar for about 100 hours, and I mean, I haven't played it that much during the course of this 100 hours, but I think when I was about 20 hours in, after about 20 hours, I played it, and my feeling is that I could already perceive a difference in the sound of the guitar. So I believe the device actually is effective. And if I were to characterize what the differences were, I would have to say that it's essentially clarified the response of the instrument. There's less sort of extraneous overtone and more fundamental. So the notes sound purer and cleaner. And to some degree, I would have to say that I feel as though the guitar has a more immediate response, and somehow seems louder. You know, and those were my impressions after just 20 hours. So now we're about 80 hours past that, because I've got about, you know, 100 hours in on this thing now. And still, I think those are my impressions. The tone acoustically, you know, without even plugging in, is less muddled, it's less muted, because the guitar when brand new sounded slightly veiled, which is normal, you know, and so the general drift of the break-in is that it clarifies the tone of the instrument. And I have to say that I believe that the device actually has accelerated the break-in of the instrument quite a bit. It's much clearer sounding. I mean, it's what's happening. I think it's actually working. Guitar's a little out of tune, but I'm not going to fuss about that too much. It's definitely more open sounding, clearer, and I believe it's louder acoustically. Those are just my impressions from memory. Yeah, definitely louder, clearer, more present in general.
You said about the fundamentals, that I can really tell the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Much more than volume.
Much more clarity.
Right.
And it sings more, it sustains a bit more. I was, you know, in this range, this guitar was a little bit less willing to speak. And I have to say that that's changed. And that's just a normal break-in kind of phenomenon. So this, essentially the device accelerated the break-in period. So I would say that now I feel as though I've been playing, the guitar feels as though it's been played for a year. I mean, you know what I mean? It really, it's different. I was speaking to a friend of mine who was breaking in an acoustic guitar, and he said until he was able to play it enough, he was hearing the wood move. Less than notes. He was hearing, you know, the actual physical reaction of the wood in the guitar reacting to the dispersion of the energy from the picking. You know, you sort of hear this plank being hit, you know. But as it broke in, his perception was that, you know, there was more clarity. And I also have that impression with this. I mean, certainly I'm hearing more note than I was when we first, you know, we just took it out of the box and made those little videos, you know. Yeah, it's very different. You know, much more happening. You know, I mean, play it. Just more picks. Definitely clearer sounding. I really do believe that.
So while you are playing the device, what do you think about the volume? More volume gets better, or in this case doesn't matter?
I think it probably does matter. I think probably if you could, but it says in the brochure, in the owner's manual, that you don't necessarily. It's bad for the unit to drive the speakers too hard. So what I did was sort of put it in a middle point. And just, if I could hear it in the room, I figured it was loud enough for the guitar. And certainly it's done, it's done the trick. I mean, it's actually a bit brighter because of the additional clarity. To my ears, it's a bit brighter, which I'm happy about. I like that. So I'm looking forward to, making some use of this guitar soon. As I said, I only used it on a couple of jobs before we hooked it up to the device and let it absorb some sound. But the additional clarity, I had a little bit of concerns about the sustain above the 12th fret. But it seems to be it's doing good now. It's certainly the clarity has enhanced my perception of the sustain, because it's just a clearer sound that's easier for me to hear, and seems to have a bit more power up here than it did before. Because my concern with a chambered instrument is always that it won't have sustain above the 12th fret. It's a common problem with a chambered instrument that doesn't have a block, like a 335 or something. So with a chambered instrument, you're always looking to make sure that you still have the clarity and the high frequency content. And the breaking in period from the device has definitely increased the high frequency content of the fundamental somehow. It brought it out. I think it quiets down all of the extraneous vibration somehow or another. What I'm hearing now is a more musical response, just generally. It just seems more musical to me. And there's less, my body playing this is perceiving less sort of extraneous vibration, just sort of random kind of things happening. It seems to have focused and become more clear, which is what you would expect. That's what you expect, from a break-in period. But the fact that we were able to do this over a simple, just 100 hours, it's no time at all, really. I mean, how many years can you take to break in a violin? Might take 7 years to break in. You know what I mean? We accelerated the break-in period by months. So that's cool. It was very cool. Definitely worth the modest investment, if you're trying to, break in a new instrument. I'm going to try it on some of these vintage acoustic guitars I have, because some of the arch tops that I play, if you don't play them frequently, it takes 30 minutes for them to wake up. It really does, right. Especially the arch tops. Yeah. And so if I want, I've always, some of these arch tops I have are very old, from the 30s, and so I'm always trying to get them on a track. Somebody calls me for a little studio date or something like that, and I'm always trying to get these guitars on a track because I like them. And so if they're sleeping, if they haven't been played in a year or 6 months, how good are they going to sound in front of the microphone? So maybe I could sneak one of my old Epiphones on a track, because you only got 20 minutes to make the track, to do a pass, You're just laying down a part. And so you don't have 2 hours to wake the guitar up. It takes about 20 minutes, some of these old arch tops, to sort of wake them up again. And so it would be nice to let the machine do the break in, bring it on into the studio and it's speaking already. Maybe that would be a strategy I could use. Then once I laid down the track, then I could sell the guitar. Get this thing out of here. No, we've achieved our lofty goal. No, but I definitely, it worked. Great. That's my feeling. Yeah.